What's going on, guys? Welcome to GregglesTV Live. It's my live show I do every single Sunday. I usually start around 5 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you are following me on YouTube and make sure you get updates. There's a little button you can click and it'll allow you to, every time I put a video, I'd have it be a live show like this or any video be one of the first to see it, and also comment. You guys have some fun with seeing who the first and second and third comments are, so always a good time. Guys, thanks for coming into the show today. It should be a fun show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got the PlayStation 4 Pro, which I have. I just got it. Haven't even tried it out yet, but I do have it. I did an unboxing earlier today. I have the S8 Plus news. We did that earlier in the week, so a lot of stuff has come out recently. So the phone lines are now open. If you want to call, it's 619-721-3699. I'll tell you guys you can call now. And we should have a fantastic show tonight. At least I hope anyway. Look at that. 6.2 inch phone we're talking about. That is crazy. 6.2 inches. Oh, I should move it down a little bit. 6.2 inches of a phone. Like, you would never think that a phone would probably come out that big, but also be able to fit in your hand. So it's awesome. In the chat room tonight, let's see what we got going on here. We got some guys already saying hello. Krista, what's going on? 27CJV, what's up? Gateway, hello. Michael Nasby, what's up? Very excited at the S8S Note 8 rumors. Me too, Krista. I think those are going to be very exciting phones. Santos is saying, I just broke my LGV. I am in pain. Santos, it sounds like you need to get a new phone, which is good for you and the economy. And you like being good for the economy. Good. Can you give me a shout out, please? BAAT Tech. What's up? Welcome to the show. Gabriel, today is a sleep day for me. It's raining where I am at. Gabriel, you're in England, right? If I'm mistaken, I can't remember. I'm sorry. Gateway, you can start calling now, like I said. It is 8 here. Cool. Bat, you must be on the East Coast, I would assume. Where state are you in? Santos Puak. Hey, man, I just broke my LGV 20. Should I get a replacement or use a different device? What do you suggest? That's a great question. How did you break it? First off, it's just the screen. I would say just get the screen fixed, which is going to end up being expensive, but at least you'll be able to get that fixed. If it's completely destroyed, like you submerged it in water and you soaked it and you put it in some rice and it still doesn't work, I would say it's a good question. Let's see. I got a call though. Gateway, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing good, man. What's the word today?
Probably here to talk about the S8 because that's what Samsung needs to save them at this point.
I know but it looks like that phone's going to be, I think, crazy. I think it's going to blow people away the way it looks. It sounds like the way it's going to look, and those screen sizes are crazy, 5.7 and 6.2 inches.
It's going to have the screen. What's really going to impress people is the screen to like bezel ratio is going to be insane.
Yeah,
it's going to be like above 85%.
Yeah, I've heard 90% even. So I think it's a thing. What's going to come from almost every manufacturer at this point, starting next year. Obviously, the rumor is Apple's iPhone's going to do something like that as well. Obviously, you have Samsung, and then I think everyone else is going to copy.
Apple, they applied for a patent for the fingerprint sensor to be like under the display.
Yeah.
So the whole display is a fingerprint sensor, and they're going to have on-screen. I don't think they're going to have buttons on the screen. It's just going to be fully gesture controlled, probably.
Wow. That's crazy. I don't know. That's going to be weird. I mean, if it works, it works. Because like right now, like for instance, it is a gesture. It's swiping up. So like I use the Google Now launcher currently, and I'm so used to swiping up to get to my app launcher, and to have that.
Is the Pixel your main phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been using. I've been loving it personally. I was on the Note 7. I called you about that like a couple episodes ago.
Yeah. It's definitely
the Pixel.
Go ahead.
It's expensive, but it's fast. The pictures, everything's good about it. Everything
right? Everything. That's what I hate about a lot of people think that just because the Samsung can do this or that, and they probably don't even use it, they think it's just a better phone. And I actually don't agree with that. I think the Pixel phone might not be able to have as many software features, but it's an amazing phone. It does everything really, really good.
And I think since the Pixel, they really with Google, before there was no Nexus ads on TV. Google did not market up the Nexus to the average consumer. But now, you're watching football on Sundays, you're getting Pixel ads. So they really picked up the average consumer market. And I think Google might be a huge phone manufacturer next year. Yeah. They might be a huge contender. And you might see all the Pixel, whatever they're going to call it next year, on all the 4 major carriers.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that, like, my wife, who doesn't pay attention to tech, she calls it, and I don't take this as a bad thing. She says it's the Android iPhone. And I've seen it's funny she says that because other tech people are saying that. And that's why I said she doesn't pay attention to tech, is that other, tech tubers are saying the same exact thing. And I agree with her to an extent. Obviously it has Android software, but she's right. It looks kind of like an iPhone. It's clean. It doesn't have any junk. It's just easy to use like an iPhone, but it's Android. And I think this is the phone that Android needed to make to really pull in people from the iPhone that are scared. Because Samsung phones, you can do so much and it can be overwhelming. And this phone does just enough to satisfy both people that are too uncomfortable with, jump into a new device, but also wanting something new.
I always liked the TouchWiz. I never really liked the UI. I thought it was always tacky, and they really fixed that with the slightly rounded icons and all that stuff. But I think what Samsung needs to do really is just do something that will wow everyone, like that screen to bezel ratio. I don't think they're going to go 4K this year. It's just not in the. I don't think that's probably like 2017, late 2017. I mean,
yeah.
You might see like the first 4K phone. Well, we already had one, but the first like one made by a major phone, manufacturer.
Sony made one, but it does 4K only sometimes. It doesn't do it all the time because of battery life. But you're right. Sony's not a big manufacturer of phones, especially here in America. So you're right. Samsung will probably be the first one that
Sony
really
is more of a Asian and European markets. Right. So they really, it's just Samsung and Apple here. But talking about Google, really, I think the reason why people think the Pixel is the iPhone of Android is just that I think Android's evolving into a different, part of the software industry where it's going to be, it's like up there at Windows and Mac. It's a standard OS. People use it enough to where that people know what Android is.
Yeah, you're right. I want more people I say this every show. I want more people to try that Pixel phone because a lot of people that say it sucks, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that, they've never even held it in their hand. And they haven't. You need to hold the phone in your hand. You need to use it for a few days or a week. And I think you'll be pleasantly shocked and surprised and in awe of it because it just works. And I do have the one gripe I have about it is that some of the software still is kind of buggy, and because it needs to be updated for Android Nougat 7.1.
Yeah, but I'm really excited for Google Assistant. Like I even have the Google Home. The future for that thing and AI integration is it's immense. It's almost scary. It's kind of like Skynet from like Terminator.
Yeah, you're right because we're getting to places where these things are you have to ask it questions, but it's going to learn what questions you ask all the time or what information you want to know all the time, and it's just going to be able to give it to you right when you walk in the room or whatever. It'll have sensors eventually, so it's going to be nice to get to that point where it gets even smarter. And plus, Google has this huge knowledge base of everybody that uses their service, because who doesn't use Google? You probably can't find one person that says, hey, I use Bing, I don't use Google. There's very few people like that.
Yeah.
So we're in for exciting, definitely times that are coming very shortly.
The only problem with like the Pixel, it's expensive, but I don't see anything that doesn't really not justify its price. I mean, the display, it's running a Samsung 1440p display. That's that's the standard of displays right there. The camera on the back, I mean, even I can't. It's amazing. I took some photos from a golf tournament. It was for Veterans Day. It's called Birdies for the Brave. Took some really nice shots, and the stabilization on it, on some golf carts, it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
The software stabilization on it. It's crazy, the thing. The camera's awesome.
The camera's amazing.
The only thing that sucks about it.
Do you like the camera before you jump into that? You had the S7, right? Or the Note 7, am I correct or no?
Yeah, I had the Note 7.
What do you think has a better camera, the Pixel or the Note 7?
The Pixel.
I agree. I totally agree.
Because the problem with the Note 7's camera was at low light, it had the smaller aperture. You know, it had a better aperture, but the pixels were a little bit smaller, and I don't think they handled it as well because, you know, when you're taking low light photos, what everyone thinks you need to do is just have a long exposure time.
Yeah.
What Google did, and they said this in their announcement of the pixels, they take photos at they're constantly taking photos with short exposure times, and then once you click the shutter button, it's going to get at that point it's going to compile all the images, and it's going to get the right exposure settings for you.
Yeah, it's an amazing camera. Amazing. I love that camera. What else were you going to say? That I think you were saying stuff you don't like. I think you were saying.
The only problem with the Pixel really is just that the speakers, like it's loud, but you know, it's not stereo, and you know, the bezels are just so huge, and it's just wasted. But that's mainly because it's HTC making it.
Yeah, you're right. The
they just wanted to play it safe.
To go back
really
to
with this phone.
Yeah, to go back to the price though with you a little bit. There's two things that I like and I don't like. I like that you can finance the phone if you want to, and you can buy it on monthly payments. But at the same time, what I don't like about that is that they're not offering you currently a solution where when the next Pixel phone comes out, that you can just trade it in after a year and get that new one.
What they really wanted to do is people use Project Fi, and I'm using that right now. Actually, I'm liking the network. You know, in places where I didn't have coverage, I'm having coverage now. Mm-hmm. So it's expensive. The price $10 a gigabyte,
yeah.
But you know, the customer support is 24/7. You know, you get coverage in a lot of places, and you get international coverage. You know, no extra cost or anything like that. So.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's the one thing that's holding me back on something like that. I like it that they use Sprint and T-Mobile for that service, but at the same time,
US Cellular now.
Oh, that's right. You're right. They added that after the fact. You're right. But the problem is with that. You're right. The price is so high. I can get the same plan with, say, T-Mobile for whatever $95 or $70, depending upon which plan you choose, and that's a lot cheaper, and that's unlimited right there, or at least it slows you down after a certain point, or with different apps. That's the problem. I wish they would be able to reduce the price some, and well, I don't know if they'll ever be able to. But
they need the Pixel is just an experiment. They played it really safe, and they want people to use their service. You know, if you're more conservative, you can make it really cheap. Like, you know, I could use 3 gigabytes a month, and there wouldn't be a difference if I were using like 8 gigabytes on T-Mobile, just like constantly using data.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, like for me, I don't want to have to think about my phone. You know what I mean? I want to be able to just use it. And but I can see some people would be fine with that. But I agree with you. It's definitely there. Google probably wants to be huge, but obviously the government doesn't want them to be as big as they want. Obviously, they could push every single product and service that they have and really probably destroy a lot of companies. But at the same time, that would be considered a monopoly, and it would probably cause issues. But I agree with you. The Pixel phone, amazing phone. I'm loving where it's going for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how it's doing well in sales, but with having them on Verizon, that's definitely helping them. And I think I've heard only good words from the reviewers in terms of like Android Authority, which of course they're going to give a Google phone a good review because I wouldn't see why they wouldn't give the the Pixel a good review.
Yeah,
but just for your average consumer, they've all said great things about it.
Yeah, everyone I've talked to that has the phone really likes it. I mean, you're definitely not a surprise that you like it. I love hearing that you like it because people have open minds and they're not just sold on that Samsung's the best and Samsung's the only thing for Android. So I love hearing that.
I like the Nexus line. It's the only problem was that the only thing I didn't really like about the Nexus line is that they always change the OEM, and there's certain things that I don't like about each manufacturer.
Mm-hmm. I didn't like the screen on the Nexus 6P. It was too yellow for me.
Yeah, like a lot of people like that sRGB look, but
Yeah.
I love like really saturated colors. That's
I'm the
my
same way.
kind of.
I'm the same way. It makes everything pop, and the white's white and the black's black. I agree with you.
I mean, it makes it look more, like a sort of a mobile look. When you're on a big screen, you want a more natural feel colors because you're usually going to be watching movies and that kind of stuff. But when you're when you're interacting with the software, you want nice aesthetics.
Yeah.
That's not, you don't get that with natural colors. The eye likes super saturated colors, bright blues, that kind of stuff.
Right. I agree with you. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate the call. Do you have anything else?
You're also going to talk about the PS4 Pro and
Yeah. Do you have any?
that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Do you got any questions? I haven't even plugged mine in. I literally I've had it for a little bit, and I was like, hey, am I going to keep it? Am I going to return it? And then I was like, I'm just going to keep it. I did an unboxing video of it today, and I'm
I
going
wouldn't see why you would want to return it. I mean, it's not expensive and
right.
or anything. The only problem is that a PlayStation, they're not going to charge. They're not going to have they're not going to charge, PlayStation first party games. They're not going to charge for the updates to get all the textures and stuff. But when it comes to like third party developers, they're not saying anything whether or not they can charge for that.
To charge for what again?
Which is for patches for like the better textures and all that stuff.
Oh, to take advantage of the updated hardware, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of a weird system. It's in terms of what it actually does versus what the last one does. In terms of like the power that it has and how it upscales 4K into 2K, and how it will, if you have a 1080p, it'll upscale it but then downscale it so it still looks better. I've heard people saying it's a loud system. I haven't turned mine on and played with it, but it's kind of a strange move in a way. I think they wanted to beat Microsoft to what Microsoft was doing more than anything.
I don't think they should have done that at all. The thing's going to be outdated in 2 years, and really, because you're not going to get 4K native resolution. There's no way with that kind of hardware,
especially at that price. I mean, right now anyway, $400 to make every game 4K. Video cards are still. I haven't looked at video cards in a while, but last time I looked, a video card that was $700-800 still didn't do 4K on every single game at 30 frames a second. It still had trouble with it. So it's it's still a ways out in terms of.
And I just 4K game, it's not there yet. But I mean, it's going to run 1080p, 60 FPS, around mid to max settings, no problem. That's still the standard. I'd say 1080p gaming, still the standard. I don't know why everyone's obsessed with this 4K, BS.
Yeah, 60. I would. You're right. I'd probably rather have 1080p 60 rather than 4K 30. I know when I record video, I actually like the way 1080p 60 looks better than 30 frames a second. So I almost always shoot in 4K 1080 60. But which I wish the Pixel had to go back to that. I don't think I haven't found it. The Pixel can't shoot in 60 frames a second yet. I don't even think it ever will because I've never had a Google phone that could do that. But yeah, look right here. You probably can't see my screen, but. A 1080 graphics card, NVIDIA 1080.
It's like $750, right?
Yeah, $650. I mean, that's just the video card. That's not counting the processor and the RAM and everything. That's over $1,000. So for Sony to put a $400 console,
when you get consoles, they're subsidizing the hardware.
Right.
It's not going to be like an MSRP. So obviously,
but they're not subbing. They usually don't.
You're not going to put a 1080 in a consumer console.
But they usually don't lose $300. They usually don't lose $300 on a console. It's probably more 100 or 200 at the most. So it's still they're still a year or two away from actually being able to probably do. I hope that the Scorpio will be able to do, which I think it still will be in the same boat. It'll be able to do 1080p and 1440 really well, and then 4K.
You're not going to see 4K 60 FPS until for about a year or two. Once 4K TVs are the standard. And then the standard, because we're still filming in 1080p. No one's filming in 4K when it comes to movies.
Yeah.
Usually the movie industry dictates this. Once we start filming, and they do film in super resolutions. We've even had 8K screens before, but once we start broadcasting 4K material, and Netflix has more and more 4K content and all that, we're going to start having graphics cards that are going to be able to handle that and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I can't wait till I'm excited to try the Scorpio still, the Xbox Scorpio. whatever they call it eventually.
That looks like a good machine.
Yeah.
I think Xbox is going the right way with, not skipping on the hardware so they can release it in, less than a year and all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, the thing is, it's not going to really get any of the PC market. The PC market is never, they're not going to switch to a console just because, it has 8 teraflop GPU. But I think it has it.
Yeah.
The Scorpio is going to have an 8 teraflop one.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
That's like from a GPU from like a year ago, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, they'll never be able to they can never keep up with PC because PC updates every 6 months to a year with their graphics card. Every year, I guess, with their graphics card. And obviously, we can't do that with console. I mean, you could do it with console, but then people would be pissed because they'd have to buy a new console or they'd want to buy a new console every year. But I mean, you never know. That might be what life is turning into. Everybody buys a phone more or less every single year. Why not buy a new console? Especially if you can trade it in and get pay half the price for the next one. I mean, who knows what will happen.
I think consoles like the ones that you have in your home are going to die off. I don't think there's going to be a PC killer because the PCs they always have the professional market. There's always people creating content on. I think in about a couple of years we're not going to have PCs and people are just going to game on the mobile devices. You just stream it to your to your TV.
Yeah. That's right. I think that I agree with that because NVIDIA already has something like that where you can stream 1080p 60 frames a second to your NVIDIA Shield console. I can just see that once the internet, everybody has like super fast gigabit internet that they're going to be able to stream 4K games to their TV without having a super powerful console.
Yeah, I don't know why the U.S. government won't invest in implementing a fiber infrastructure. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But I wish they subsidize it to like Google because they have the ambitions to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now Google's cutting back. It looks like they laid some people off because they want to go the wireless route rather than do wired route. Which I guess we'll see how that turns out if they end up able to output fast enough internet that's wireless to the whole world. The whole United States. And
it's just that the reason why they did it is because it's annoying to work with cities.
Yeah.
Try and implement it.
Yeah.
It costs them more. The people that they're making this for, when people hear fiber optic internet, half of the world doesn't even know what that is.
Right.
They'd rather just stick to their cable, company, which I hate, Time Warner Cable. The connection's terrible.
Yep.
And all that kind of stuff. But they'd rather just stick to that and stick to their, cable because, some people still watch cable now.
Mm-hmm.
Then go to, this new thing called Google Fiber.
Yeah. That's right. I mean,
I wish they had it here.
It's nice to see, but what's happened is that AT&T already and Cox as well are already pushing out 1 gigabyte internet, which it should be in my neighborhood probably within the next year. And then I know it's in other places already. So it's good that they're matching Google speeds of the same Google. That's what Google speeds are. But they're just putting limits on it. I don't think Google's has a limit. They're putting 1 terabyte limits on that stuff for you. So that's a lot of data, but I like my video today in my news video. Last time I checked, I was using 750 gigabytes a month in data. Yeah, and I can only imagine I'm using more since the last time I looked. So I'll probably it's
I don't understand why people they put caps on people's data, especially on fiber optic. It's really, it's expensive to implement the infrastructure, but if put it, when people want fiber optic internet, the people that are going to get that are people that produce that, make video content. They're constantly uploading videos, constantly streaming. They want that kind of stuff. If you put a 1 terabyte, of a cap and you're uploading like a 200 gigabyte, like let's say, you make movies, like mini movies on YouTube, a 200 gigabyte file, you're uploading that to YouTube. That's going to go out really quick.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I hope that the government puts rules on internet providers from doing like controlling us that much with caps.
Yeah, like the ISPs, they still throttle people's data, and mobile providers, they still throttle your data when that's illegal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's illegal to throttle your data.
Yeah, and T-Mobile it puts it right out in the open that that's what they do. You know, with I mean, you can change it, but they charge you more for being able to stream 1080p video. Or I don't even think their $95 plan. Can you even stream faster than 1080p video on any plan that they have?
I mean, I wouldn't want to anyways. I don't do more than 40p on mobile because it just you know, it's going to kill your data.
Well, that's what I mean.
Because they'll follow you instantly. If you start watching 1080p videos, they'll throttle your data.
Yeah, but at the same time, you should have the choice to be able to watch whatever you want for whatever, you know, if you want to use up all your data, then fine, let it use up all your data. But I kind of hate that I like it and I don't like it that they're putting caps on stuff. I think it's good for kids, especially when kids don't have any perception of money a lot of the time. But at the same time, an adult should be able to do whatever they want without having to jump through hoops.
Well, I think that's going to change in the next couple of years because the FCC is already starting to mandate cable companies because, you know, they're kind of really starting to be irrelevant cable.
Yeah.
They're going to start mandating them to make online streaming services.
Yeah, you know what's cool is AT&T is releasing their DirecTV. It's going to be an online. They already have service, but it's going to be a strictly online service. I believe it comes out, I want to say before the end of this year. 100 channels. I think it's $50. You can watch it anywhere, obviously, like some of these other services. And that will be one of the most channels for the cheapest price. I'm actually very excited to see what they release there. I still don't think I would get it because I don't watch live TV.
They have Sling, but it's still like $50 if you want all their channels a month.
Yeah.
I don't know why they just don't do it like Netflix or Hulu does it. Just charge $10 a month to have all the channels you want. Because the TV industry, TV is dying. No one's watching TV. The only people that watch it are 80-year-old people that like to watch NPR. Yeah. And, you know, sports nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a changing world, and we're kind of stuck between the old world and the new world with where we are. We're probably still 5 or 10 years out from getting whatever we want, whenever we want, wherever we want. You know, like I said,
I've just been using Kodi. Kodi is what I've been using.
But Kodi's amazing, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff lags, a lot of stuff stutters, pauses. It's not as smooth and easy as say Hulu a lot of the time or Netflix. Like obviously they don't have the server capacity.
I don't think you know your average consumer isn't gonna use Kodi.
Exactly, they're
not gonna want to bother and set that up.
Yeah, they won't. But Hulu's coming out with their live service soon. They've already announced it. AT&T.
Wait, they're making live TV?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're gonna have. It's gonna be very similar to what Sling TV is. So you'll be able to do their on-demand service for $8 to $12 a month, and then they're also going to have live TV channels.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. So it's coming out. There's going to be a lot of competition. Hopefully, it does well for the consumer. So, man, I appreciate the call. Awesome call.
All right.
Yeah,
brother. That was great.
Yeah, thanks for calling, and we'll make sure you call in again.
All right, see you.
Later, brother. Gateway, amazing call. Very cool call. So if you guys want to call in, 619-721-3699. Lines are open. Call now. I sound like a what's that lady that gives you your horoscope? Lines are open. Call now. I got so many. Michael Tobin is in here. I think it's his dad. That's Michael Tobin is Initial Focus's dad. If you don't follow Initial Focus, make sure you do. He does awesome work. I love that guy. I love him. T-Mobile doesn't throttle your data. They optimize your video connection. Every carrier does it now. What? Flyboy, it sounds like you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Bat Tech says you should do a giveaway on the Snapchat spectacles. I don't have the Snapchat spectacles, but if I did, maybe I would. Tech for your needs. What's up?
Hey. How you doing?
What's going on, man? 617 in the house.
Yep.
How are you, buddy? I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, I've been doing good. I just wanted to talk about T-Mobile and other stuff. Did you know that T-Mobile got sued for lying about the data?
I did. I saw that, and I forget, was it 40 million? It wasn't like a ton of money, right?
No, it wasn't a ton of money, but the fact that they got sued is good because you know why? Because they need to tell the truth. Not everybody is taking like you and I. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, people be wondering.
Well, you when you go in the store. So I went in the store. Okay, so my wife is in Thailand right now, and I don't have T-Mobile, but my friend does. So I asked my friend to put me on his plan so she could use the data over there. And right when I walked in, they wanted to switch his plan up. He's actually on unlimited data with no caps. They try to push him over to that new plan. That it's going to be cheaper. It's $70. And then I was like, well, dude, your video gets you're going to be on 480p video, and I think that's all it does, right? But
you got an option for 480p. Since I'm in T-Mobile, you can turn it off.
Yeah. So it's kind of stupid. It's good and it's bad. I like that they're doing unlimited plans now. You don't really have to think about stuff, but at the same time, they're capping your video, the speed of it.
Yeah, but let me explain, because you and I, we are techie, and you know that I went to school for computer networking.
Yeah.
The reason they're doing that because they it's congestion. If they get too congestion, then the network is gonna run slow. So too much. It's like a highway. Too much, so people can understand. Too much traffic is gonna run slow.
Yep.
So therefore, people put in caps. I understand why, because remember, it's not like 5-6 years ago that we didn't use a lot of data. People are using data. Trust me, I'm a data hog. I could go over 80. Reason for I haven't put internet in my house because I don't see the purpose of spending money if I'm 1 minute and a half away from a Starbucks. So when I need to do something, I go over there, and the rest of my hotspot I save it to upload my videos when I ever put videos online from my channel.
So wait, where do you upload your videos from? On T-Mobile or your house or Starbucks?
I do Starbucks and then I do T-Mobile when I got my 6 or 7 gigs.
Okay, how much data do you get with T-Mobile?
No, because I got unlimited. I'm in the grandfather old plan. I got the cheapest of all because I'm going 10 years with T-Mobile.
Okay. I get it. So yeah, it's got some advantages, but I don't know. I think everyone's going to eventually go unlimited in some form of fashion in terms of slowing your data down or keeping it fast or whatever you want. I think we won't have data caps really, or I think they're going to be a lot higher than what we have now in the next couple of years.
And also wanted to mention from the first time I got an iOS device, I got the iPhone 7. And it's okay. I like it, but the only thing is I'm not accustomed to small phones. But I got it to be well-rounded tech reviewer for my channel because now I got 3 devices. I got all 3 major devices. I got Windows, iOS, and I also got Android. And BlackBerry I excluded because BlackBerry is part of Android because they got the Android interface now, so
yeah,
I don't need to get that.
I know. My friend has a BlackBerry and he had Android on it, and I was using it the other day. It was kind of weird, but
that's not true. That's not true. And I heard that the company is still making phones. I read something that 2 days ago. I'm like, you still doing phones? I mean, nobody buying your phones.
Yeah, no, I know. No, people still buy them. They like the keyboard on there. The ones that do have the keyboard built into it. That's like their audience that they still get.
Yeah, but remember, those audience are older audience. They stuck in a certain age. And I don't mean to pick an age, but I've been doing research on that because I was helping my friend for a college report. He was doing on mobile. He picked BlackBerry, and I noticed those are the people that they don't like change. Oh, it's working. It's not broken.
Yeah.
Why fix it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, most people don't like change. You're right. It's human nature not to want change a lot of the time, or it makes you uncomfortable. But then once you go through it, it's not that bad.
That company is a prime example of not innovating or keeping up with the times.
Yeah, they had a huge market share, and then once Apple released the iPhone, people were like, ugh, the BlackBerry feels so old and antique, yeah. And then Apple came out and changed the game.
But you know what I like about Apple? Apple did something that alleviates everybody's pocket. Instead of carrying multiple devices, they condense it all in one. iPod, it condensed the internet and it condensed the phone. So therefore, you got 3-in-1. Everybody started following the formula because the formula is easy to carry one device in your hands, in your pocket everywhere than carry 3 or 4 like back in the days.
Right. Yeah, right.
So
that's why it makes Christmas shopping for electronics that much harder because once everybody has a cell phone, they pretty much have anything they want. They have a flashlight, a music player, a video player, a phone, a computer, everything. A phone does everything. So you can't buy anybody an electronics gift anymore.
Yeah, and you know, people just they complain about this and that about phones, and I'll be like, wow, you live in an age that is so advanced. Even the cheapest phone, it do so much. It's like a pocket computer. Why you complaining?
It's
It might not
amazing.
have the speed. Now, it might not have the speed or everything, but I tell people because this is faster, that don't mean nothing. Because from A to B, I'm getting there. Maybe I get slow, and maybe you get faster and you crash, and then you can't get out of the crash. An example out of that, crash or whatever incident. Just give an analogy. Because some good phones, they're faster. Sometimes they die fast. You know what I mean? It happens. It just depends the luck of the draw of the device that you have in hand.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that all this technology we have, all the speed we have. I know when I go from America to, I've been to Europe once, and I've also been to Canada, and the internet here is just so much faster, so much more readily available almost everywhere you go versus the rest of the world that I've been in anyway. And it's amazing. You take it for granted a lot of the time here in America,
Yeah, I got a question. What you think about a Sprint and device and service with not having really a CDMA, not having GSM? Because remember, that's a question I want to ask.
Which
I called for.
which device?
Not a specific device. I'm talking about the network. What you think about those two networks that have CDMA and they don't do GSM? Because GSM is about 95% in the world.
Oh, why do you think? Why do I think like Verizon and Sprint do GSM versus CDMA?
Yeah, they do. Vice versa. They do CDMA. They don't do really GSM.
Right. No, I understand. Yeah. I honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why Verizon and Sprint went to CDMA versus GSM. I think if I remember correctly, because it was more prevalent and important back, 10 years ago, probably now, 5 years ago than it was now. But if I'm correct, CDMA I think had clearer call quality at the time, but GSM had faster data, which was not so important at the time. That's why I assume Sprint and Verizon went with CDMA, and then GSM was done by AT&T and T-Mobile, or AT&T was called Cellular One and some other. They had a bunch of names throughout the years.
Yeah, VoiceStream.
Yeah, VoiceStream. So that's why I would guess that why they did it. And then eventually, everything's almost LTE anyway. That it won't really matter which CDM versus GSM, what it's going to be anyway, because everything will just be LTE.
And my last question that I have, it's about China. What you think about China manufactured phones being faster than the United States? They got 6 gig. They crazy. Even the lowest brand over there is crazy. Because I was talking to a friend who went over there for vacation. He was like showing me videos. He's like, "Yo, this phone is 10 times faster and it costs cheaper than actual flagship in the United States."
Well, if you think about it, China's making all these phones already anyway, and then all they're doing, they're obviously stealing from Apple and Samsung and HTC and all these other companies, whoever make phones in China.
And they lost Fabless. The last thing I want to add.
What's that last part?
They lost Fabless, big phones.
Oh, Fablets. Yeah. China, they're just copying. Obviously, it's easy to copy rather than to create, and that they're able to do that. And obviously, when Apple makes a phone, for instance, it doesn't cost them $700, $800, $900 to make it. You're just paying that because you're paying for them to make the phone. It's usually like $200 or $300 in costs for the parts, and then with the rest of the money that you're paying for is their salaries, their upkeep of their service, their upkeep of
promotion.
Promotion. You're paying for them to figure out how to make a phone. You're paying for a lot of stuff. Whereas with China, you're only paying for them to manufacture it, and then for them to that's really it, and the parts, and that's it, because they're just copying everyone else, and they might change a couple of things, but the things that they're changing aren't that big a deal. When you look at a Chinese phone, they're not these phones aren't innovative. They're just copies of something else that's already out there.
Yeah, but if you think about it, they were the first one to do mobile payment, and also if you look at it, of the infrastructure and the looks, is so much you could do, because we reach an area that is plateauing on the looks and parts. Yeah, you can make it a little faster, like a racing car, but that's all you get until you do foldable display or something else creative. then it's always going to be the same. So you got to borrow.
But you also got to remember though. So if they're coming out with mobile payments first, or maybe some new antenna or whatever, it usually doesn't catch on here because it's usually the quality is not that good, or payments. You got to remember most stores and like Apple and Android and Samsung, they have to work out deals with these stores like Walgreens and grocery stores and Macy's and Apple Store. They have to work out deals with these companies to use their mobile payment system. So whatever China creates is usually going to be half-assed, or it's not going to work that well. It's going to work well once, Google, Samsung, and Apple and all those other companies put their time and money into it, and and make it take hold.
Yeah, because the best mobile platform of those three you mentioned is Samsung. And let me explain to people that they're not really tech savvy or watching this. It's backwards compatible. You could do everything. It's not like Apple or Android Pay that is limiting. This one, you could use different older models, new models of payment system.
Right.
So I don't know if your subscribers or people watching this was aware of that, and that's why I wanted to explain that before.
You made good points. Definitely good conversation starters, and it's something to think about for sure. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I'm enjoying the iPhone. The only thing is just that I went back quick to my note because I couldn't take the small screen. I said I'll use it off and on as much as you can, trying to finish the 2-week challenge, but it's too difficult. It's not because I don't like the platform. I use the platform all the time. Yeah. Because my sister, she got an iPad. She's not really that tech savvy. But before I let you go, the only problem is just too small, and I got that phone without thinking. Because I should have asked the store. They have any color, it wouldn't matter unless it's the rose gold. I should have got it white or whatever, gray or whatever. But I just focused on the matte blacks and didn't have it. I just got the small one. I didn't think about it.
Okay. Yeah, because you could have. I know when I went to the East Coast recently, I was surprised how easy it was for me to get I bought my mom a iPhone 7 Plus, and I was surprised how easy it was for me to go get that for her. I went into a Best Buy and they had one and they got it for her. The West Coast, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah, and the last thing that I want to tell people is about how to pay for phones. There's two ways you could pay. You could pay outright, or you could get on any plan. But this is my strategy. I want to educate people. Okay. My strategy, if you get it in the plan, because you don't have the money to pay upfront, you got the option, if you got extra money, to pay it faster. So you could do that, and you don't have to go to the full term, and that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been teaching people. Like, if I got extra money, I'll get $50, $60 towards my regular payment plus extra for the payment of the phone to finish faster. Because people think that you got to get the right amount, you can't give extra. Yeah. And that's what I just want to pass that knowledge to people. And that's what I've been doing. So people, you can get any phone if you qualify. If you've been long enough with the company, T-Mobile, Electro, whatever company, just make sure that you pay it faster, and it'll be good because it'll be better.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's just like, you're right. With anything, you can do that with a car too, or a loan, and you can pay it off or get something quicker. You're right. It's good points. Well, man, I appreciate your call, and thanks for always listening when you do and joining in on the conversation.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Awesome call. Tech for your needs. Click on his name, follow him now. Phone lines are open, 619-721-3699. If you want to be, I think I'm going to wrap it up with one more call. So if you want to be my last caller of the day, make sure you call him now. 619-721-3699. Dijinko, hey Greg, can you talk about the Eleco Pro 3? Well, that phone, I've heard that company's actually doing kind of bad. The company that they're supported by doesn't want to give them any more money, and they're growing, I guess, so fast, and their prices are so low that they're having trouble keeping stuff going. It looks like a cool phone. I'm actually very curious to try it. I wish that company would send me one. I'm not ready to just buy it because obviously all these devices come out all the time. It gets muy expensiense, very expensive, but it looks like a cool phone. Jonathan Rivera says Le Pass. Cool. Greg, do you watch Walking Dead? Flyboy, I used to. I don't really watch it too much anymore. I don't really watch any TV. I'm so busy with my regular job and this that by the time anything I could watch, I don't. I I don't know. It's a good show though. LG needs to revamp their design language. Let me tell you, last call, anyone? Hallelujah, hallelujah. Galaxy Note 8. I'm excited for that. That should have a 4K screen, we hope anyway. Otherwise, I think it's going to be a really dope thing. Dope. I'm so thirsty right now. I always forget to bring water in here into my little office when I do this. My regular job is marketing regulatory, meaning when somebody wants to use some marketing material for the company I work for, they have to put it through my department, and I have to help them decide if it's okay with the government, or it's actually called FINRA. It's a financial regulatory agency. If it's going to be okay with them for them to market their whatever they're trying to market at that point with that agency. If that makes sense, fly boy. All right, guys, I'll give it another minute. (619-721-3699). Got some new stuff coming out. I'm really going to try to finish my Google Pixel review this week. I was going to do it this weekend, but I'm like, didn't have enough time. Too busy. Do some PlayStation 4 videos, maybe some Xbox videos. I'm going to try to do a little bit more gaming if I can for you guys. Other than that, what else? Got a new video coming out tomorrow already. Should be reviewing a camera, another home camera, security camera, a keyboard. This keyboard actually. It's kind of cool. Should be reviewing this fairly soon. It's a Bluetooth keyboard. It's so thin. Very cool. But anyways, guys, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. As always, I super appreciate it. If you want to watch me, I do this every single Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. If you ever have questions, feel free to comment on any of my videos, and I'll try to get back to you if I can. Guys, thanks for watching. I will see you down the road.